What is that, Mr. Remington?
Your town has vampires.
I would think that only children would believe in fairy tales.
I just thought I'd come over here and see how thick your skull really is. I'd rethink that if I was you.
I'd highly recommend you don't go messing with something. Ain't got nothing to do with you. I'm on a mission from God.
We fight and stand for what's right.
I'm gonna need some garlic. I'm gonna need some wooden sticks.
There's something strange about those three.
Don't want to die today. I'd suggest you get the hell out.
You don't know how much power he has over these people. They would die for him.
The undead don't make deals with the living.
I'm here to save this town's ass. What I want, what I need, is to kill vampires.
Never corner something meaner than you.
Sometimes you can't predict what evil's gonna do. Go to hell.
If you go in there, you're gonna die.
Probably.
Boom, there you go. That was a trailer for Unnatural, arriving on streaming digital video on demand on October 29th. I'm Kuya P. This is Nerds Rule the World. Joining me to talk all things Unnatural is the star, Dan Remington, the legendary Al Snow, and of course, writer, director, producer, Whit Whitman. Gentlemen, such a pleasure to chat with you guys. Let's get into the supernatural thrillings that is Unnatural. We have zombies. Well, not zombies. We have werewolves. We have vampires, and we have ghosts. A paranormal thriller that's going to hit fans on October 29th. Let me throw it to you, Whit, since you kind of conceived this brainchild. What were the voices, and when were the voices speaking in your head to write this?
I would actually say this came about 6 to 10 years ago. I write down all my ideas, kind of several a month, and I just list them. And then when the opportunity comes along, I go, okay, what can I do? How can I work this? What's the best script that I want to develop for each individual? And of course, when I met the wonderful Al Snow, I said, well, I got this one script with a rough, tough guy who could do that. And of course, Al popped up. I started developing it. I pitched him the idea along with John Wells and Darren Lee Cupp, and everyone got together and we said, yeah, let's do this.
Love it. All right, Al, this supernatural Western, are you a fan of the supernatural and mixing these genres together into this film and playing Dan Remington?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Westerns. When I grew up, as a kid, that there were a lot of movies that were Westerns back then, and was always enamored with the idea of getting to be play a cowboy in a film. So I finally had the opportunity, and then I think it's really cool, that there was the mesh of crossing over between the paranormal and a little tinge of horror, along with it being a Western as well, and a little supernatural. So I think it makes it more for a fun movie, kind of like when it was Cowboys versus Aliens, that Western, that was a lot of fun to watch, and I think this one is as well.
Definitely. And I just love your gravelly voice. You've always had like a very signature voice, Al, and for this Dan Remington character, I think is just chef's kiss.
Yeah. The voice seems to work real well for the character.
So Whit, if you can tell me, back to you, just you get Al on board. What was it like, pre-pro, getting everything together to make this film?
Well, we do a little bit of interesting things while we're actually filming. We're actually teaching at the same time. So Al and John and Darren were instructors, and a lot of the other actors on this were actually new people. And then we would actually every morning teach everyone acting while we're filming the movie. So it started out more, I call it education equity. It started out more of just helping people. And then, we'll do this little movie. And then while we were there, it just kind of felt like we were catching, lightning in a bottle. And everyone really stepped up to the game because of Al and John and Darren. And we got something I never expected. I wrote a cute little movie, and it's really turned out to be a lot better than what your expectations are. So, well, at least mine were, and I hope everyone who watches it enjoys the fact that everyone in it gave 110%.
Amazing. Al, I think wrestlers are some of the greatest performers, and I'm sure you know that, are the greatest performers that we have out there. You perform every night. You give of yourselves. So to Mr. Whitman's credit, you guys were educating the folks on this set. What was that like? Yeah. What was that experience like? You have years of experience, and now, performing in this manner in this film.
Yeah. For me, it's a great experience because, I do have years of experience, primarily though in wrestling. I have done some other acting and stuff. So I'm there learning right alongside everyone else as we do it. It's a different world from professional wrestling. But it's so enjoyable, and it's I think what Whit's created is very unique, and it's very good. It's almost like a trade school for acting, because I always say that we live in a world of information now. You can look up anything you want, and you'll have information on that particular topic. But what gives you real, genuine knowledge about a topic is experience. And Whit's combined a way that they can be educated, they can get information, and at the same time apply it day to day and get that experience, and they leave with a much better understanding of what it is they're really trying to undertake and how to go about succeeding with it. So, I think it's a great program, and like Whit said, everybody really stepped up. I think we got lightning in a bottle. We got very lucky. It turned out great.
Wonderful. I love that. That's awesome. I wish that was around me. I wish you were around me, Whit. And I could work with Al Snow and all of that. That's brilliant. Let's go specifically into the story. Some twists I haven't seen in this genre. I don't want to spoil anything, but there's, different responsibilities certain supernatural characters take within this, beyond just the voices in Al's head that we see in wrestling sometimes, and now as this Dan Remington character. Can you speak to some of the story elements that you got to play with in this?
Well, once again, when you're developing a story, I think a lot of this come out of a lot of personal things. The kids that Al was with kind of resemble my children. And Dan Remington was my father. My father was an ex-military, 40s and 50s kind of guy. So Dan Remington was just an embellishment of what I already knew. And I think as a writer, you either write what you know, or you educate yourself on lots of stories. Most of my stories come from things in my past. As far as the twists go, I was a big fan of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I don't know if I can say Joshua is not really on the up and up right now, but people don't like him. But his staff did great twists and turns. And so as I was writing it, I wanted to make sure that we just had a few twists and turns so that people go, oh, I didn't expect that. Or, and then you throw in a cantankerous old man who just comes in and takes no crap off of anybody, and that adds for some humorous moments. I used to work in the role-playing game industry. I worked on Dungeons and Dragons and things like that, and I always had a friend who was big into horror role-playing games and things like that. And I always asked him, what was it about horror? And they talk about the jump scares in order to the comedy. That's the relief. So when you ramp up a scare, you either throw in a little comedy or throw in a little time for people to breathe. And I think Remington's character, of course, and all his sayings and everything he said, added that little relief while you're watching it, to chuckle just a little bit. And Al, I think, is a very funny guy, whether he admits it or not. So it's nice to watch his delivery. Like the deliveries he gave were just exactly spot on most of the time, above what I thought they would be. And that makes for some interesting storytelling.
Love it. Love it. All right, Al, I got to ask you, man, I watched this film for you in a lot of ways because I just love you, man. You're one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. That shirt was wearing you a little bit in this. Can you talk about costuming, getting to ride on a horse, shooting some six shooters and just playing around with the kids and just some of that dialogue you got to have fun with as Dan Remington?
Yeah. The costume was, I don't know how people back in the old days did it. I mean, that, I had a wool vest and that linen shirt and then put that hat on my head. And I was sweating. I was dying, especially with that long trench coat too. But it looked cool. And then, those guns that I carried, those were actual legit from I think it was the 1890s, I think, both of those guns. And the one on my chest weighed about 8 pounds, and the one on the holster on my hip was 6 pounds. So walking around with those all day got to be a little trying after a while, but they were cool. And man, those things sound like cannons when they go off. It's insane. It really crazy how loud they are. We did one scene. I'd shot them outside. The armorer let me shoot them. And, I was like, oh, that's not too bad. And we were about to do the scene in the bar in the saloon where I walk in and I, unload, shoot the gun in the air. And Whit's like, you might want to get some earplugs. Like, it'll be fine. I shot it outside. I went in there and shot that thing. And, oh my God. I was like, hey, I need earplugs because this thing's loud. It really startled me. So, and the kids were great. It was really fun and easy to banter back and forth with them, especially Charlie, the girl. She was, she's a firecracker, boy. You can't intimidate her. So she was firing right back at me just like I was at her. So that was great. We had a good time. It was really a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Just as sharp as her character in person.
Oh yeah. Without doubt. Yeah.
Awesome. Whit, from your side as a director, writer, producer on this, what were some of the things that filming this and production of this that we can talk on? Like, how long did it take? There things that you learned as a filmmaker making this, getting out of his busy schedule, which I couldn't understand. This man does so much, as we know in wrestling, how he was able to fit into the schedule. Can we just talk about production?
Well, one of the nights he had to go back and do the OVW that he does a Thursday night show. So he came after the show and we waited and filmed all night to get it done. But this one took, we shot the first part in 10 days and then came back for 3 more days of shooting. So we did it in a 13-day schedule. So we always try to run as professional as we can. So 12 hours off, because we're trying to teach the students and people and our other actors to like what happens if you were to get on a SAG. But we did it in lightning time. We rented a Western town out in Winfield, Tennessee called Possum Trot. We used their actual name. And that place actually held 30 beds. People rented out for conventions. Now, the difference is, and I think Al said it one time, the one scene where we went to a small cabin, that was a ticket booth. And he was like, Whitman, I don't know how you're going to pull this off. This is just a little booth. But we have Omo, my friend Omo. I'm going to murder his last name. He's from Nigeria. Escalante. Oh, man, he's going to kill me. Anyway, he was our DP. And if you take even something that doesn't look like a real Western town, but kind of, and get the right angles, that's a great Western town for you to shoot at. So we're lucky that I have a great DP, and it was hectic. It was fun. We got a lot of footage, but it was definitely getting back that extra 3 days to go, okay, these are the extra shots that we need to do. The one shootout scene at the end, I'm not going to spoil it, but Al took his time and we did that for about 35 minutes, just because those guns were heavy. Like he's pulling them back and cocking them. They don't normally cock like regular guns. You have to pull them back. So you're seeing him doing it, and it's a lot of weight, 5 pounds, 7 pounds on each hand. And so there were just some of the scenes that we really worked on. The hardest part was figuring out how to put some of the creatures in there, because theoretically I knew how to do it, but we'd never done it with special effects before. But it turned out okay.
Yeah, how my filmmaker hat was like, doing practical effects, and then I liked how you did like spectral, like orbs to kind of get that effect when he was seeing the spirits, when I was seeing the spirits. Can you speak on just some of those choices?
Well, I will tell you, I was really worried almost to the last minute of getting it edited. We managed to find some programs that would rotoscope out so that the orbs could fly behind and in front. And the original's like, how am I going to get him behind it? And there's one scene I actually hand rotoscoped. It took 4 hours. And then luckily a new program came out to speed that process way up. But a lot of it is just using practical. Like I think somebody said that we use CGI blood. That was not CGI blood. Almost everything was practical that we could do, except for some of the spirits and orbs.
Love that. Al, again, like I said earlier, wrestling, we know you from that. You're a legend, but it's fun seeing you play around in this character as well as Dan Remington. Can you just tell me about your acting and just seeing you in this, and hopefully, fingers crossed, you and Whit will team up to do some more projects together. Can we? What is like acting for you outside of wrestling?
It's to some degree, it's just a natural extension of what I've been doing for so many years. But you can't just walk out of the ring and right into this world and expect that it's going to be exactly the same. I've done a lot of. Had a lot of opportunities to do a lot of acting, and each time I learn something more and get a little better at doing it. Still not good, but in comparison to where I was, I had to first learn that I didn't no longer need to project to a audience, 20,000 people. I have to project to an audience that's just that camera. So I got to pull everything in a little bit more and not be so big and so physical, and then also the idea that I get multiple takes. Where I come from, you're one and done, and that's it. You've got one shot, you've got one chance. You can't screw up because you're live, and surprisingly, that really was one of the harder things to start to understand and accept, and then slowing down even more so than what I typically would do, because again, I'm trying to really project just to that one camera and not to 20,000 people. So it's been a bit of an adjustment, but it's been fun. It's been challenging. What pushes me out of my comfort zone. We're working on a wrestling musical right now, movie, and I sing. So it's pushing me again
I
out of my
cannot wait
comfort
for
zone.
this.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
I will tell you this, because you said you hope more collaboration. I've actually shot 4 more films with Al. We have a Christmas movie coming out November 19th called Homeless for the Holidays.
Okay.
Where a bunch of homeless people find a dead body of the rich man in town, disguise themselves, and go stay in his mansion for Christmas. alas, the man is not dead. So you have to realize that, and that'll be coming out November 19th. About a month ago, we just finished Unnatural 2, called Unnatural: The Gates of Hell. And we will be filming the third movie this April for Unnatural, and it's called Unnatural: The Last Man Standing. And so, and then in the summer, we'll be releasing the wrestling movie, which is our take of, it's kind of like the Muppet movie, but with wrestlers.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. Guys, gentlemen, wait, I got to have you back. We got to talk about these when they get ready to release, so I can throw those virtual flowers at you guys and promote and do all I can. I love it. That was actually going to be like my last question was, this begs for a franchise. Like Dan Remington, like you set this up. I could see more stories in this world as a writer, filmmaker myself. Like I have stories in my head that I could rock with this, and I'm happy and excited to hear that we're getting a 2 and 3. And also this wrestling musical is insane. I'm a huge wrestling fan, so I love this. I gotta have you gentlemen back.
Sure, certainly.
Awesome. So let's close this out. Unnatural, the first one. Everybody, October 29th, go check it out. We're getting a 2 and 3, so jump on the ride now. Thank you so much, Whit. It's a pleasure chatting with you. Al Snow, you're a legend, man. I love you, dude. You're so amazing. Such a pleasure. Everybody, there you go. Unnatural, Whit Whitman, Al Snow. I'm Kuya P. This is Nerds Rule the World.
All right. Thank you so much.
There you go. There's the cut, guys.
Hello there.
Hello, Al. It's a pleasure to chat with you.
Yes. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thanks for your time.
Oh, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Definitely. So about 10 to 15 minutes, cool?
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah.
Wonderful. Awesome. This is a real pleasure. I'm a big fan of yours, sir, as a wrestling fan. And now loving to see that you're, doing some acting with this. I don't know how you find the time because of everything that you do, but it's an honor and a pleasure.
Sometimes myself.
All right.
Hold on a second. Let me
no worries.
Just set up right. There we go.
Awesome. Excellent. Excellent. Okay. I'm going to do a 3, 2, 1 count to help me with my edit. We'll be coming off the trailer, and I'll introduce you and introduce myself, and then we'll talk about the film.
Sure.
Oh, here comes Whit. Let me bring Whit in real quick. All right. Hello, Whit. I see that you're here.
Face to come on here.
Awesome. All right. So, cool.
There we go.
Awesome. So I guess I'll do the both of you now, since I have you both. We'll go ahead and rock it both. Awesome. So as I was telling Al, Whit, I'm going to introduce you both. And then we're going to be coming off the trailer. I'm going to do the trailer, coming off the trailer, introduce you both, introduce myself, and then we'll just get into the production of the film.
All right. Sounds great.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen. Let's have some fun in about 10 to 15 minutes. Cool with you both?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm going to shut my door. Hold on.
Okay. All right. No worries.
Okay.
Excellent. All right, gentlemen. Let's have some fun. And I think October 29th, yes, is the release date.
Yes.
And that's video on demand digital, Whit?
It is video on demand right now. It will, of course, come out like all the other movies later. It'll be on streaming, all the different channels.
Wonderful. All right, gentlemen. Let's have some fun. Here we go. And direct. Did you write it too? Were you the writer, Whit?
I was the writer, director, and producer
Writer,
of this.
Okay, I just want to make sure I give your credits fully. All right,
Thank
here
you.
we go. In a 1, 2, 3.